Welcome back to The Remote Islander, your go-to podcast for all things remote work in the Caribbean and Latin America. Today we're talking about a company I have personal history with because BairesDev was actually my first remote work experience. And I want to be upfront about something before we dive in. I do have a referral link for BairesDev in the show notes. If you apply through it and get hired, I receive a benefit. I'm mentioning that now because you deserve to know, and because everything I'm about to tell you is based on what I genuinely know about how this company works, not on the referral. Now, with that said, let me tell you why this company is worth your attention. For anyone who isn't familiar, BairesDev is a nearshore technology and talent company. What that means in practice is that they connect Latin American and Caribbean professionals, developers, designers, project managers, and more with US and international clients who need remote talent. Think of them as a bridge between our region's professional capability and some of the world's biggest companies. They operate entirely remotely. They pay in US dollars, and they have built their entire model around the idea that world-class talent exists in this hemisphere and deserves to be compensated accordingly. But the BairesDev of 3 years ago isn't the BairesDev of 2026. They've scaled significantly. We're talking over 2.4 million applications a year. They have become something of a white whale for developers, designers, and project managers across the region. Because of that USD salary, the flexibility to work from a beach in Barbados or a cafe in Medellin, the legitimacy that comes with working for a company that genuinely understands remote work. But with over 2 million people applying annually, how do you actually get in? Today, I'm breaking down what you need to know, who this is actually for, and I mean all of you, not just the developers, and some practical tips that will give you a real edge going into 2026. The world is hiring. Let's get you ready. Let's start with the hard facts. BairesDev doesn't operate like a traditional company where a recruiter reviews your resume and calls you for a conversation. They are a fully remote, AI-driven talent matching machine. When you apply, you aren't applying for one specific job. You are entering a talent database that considers you for over 500 active client projects simultaneously. That's actually a significant advantage. One application opens 500 potential doors. But in 2026, it also means your video introduction and your skills tests are being passed by an algorithm before a human ever sees your profile. Understanding that changes how you should prepare. BairesDev leans hard into what they call their top 1% branding, and it's worth being clear that this is their own marketing language. What it signals in practice is that their testing process is genuinely rigorous. They are not looking for average. In the 2026 version of the portal, the problem-solving test, which covers numerical reasoning and logic, is adaptive. It gets harder as you perform well, and you cannot go back. Once you hit next, the answer is locked in. Treat it accordingly. On the payment side, they've streamlined things considerably. For Caribbean listeners, Payoneer and Direct Wire remain the most reliable options. For those in Brazil, Husky has become the preferred route for fast BRL conversions. Payments are guaranteed within the first 7 days of the month. They also offer what they call comprehensive support. Hardware and software shipped directly to you, a mentorship program called the Circles program to keep your skills current, and a dedicated experienced partner who checks in on your well-being so you don't feel like a number in the cloud. For a company operating at this scale, that last piece is worth noting. Now here's where I want to push back a little on the assumption that BairesDev is only for software developers. It isn't. Let me break down who they're actively looking for in 2026, starting with a group that often gets overlooked in these conversations. The internal professional. BairesDev is hiring heavily for internal roles in HR, talent acquisition, marketing, and finance. If you're a Caribbean professional in any of those fields, this is a real opportunity, and one that doesn't require a single line of code. One important update for 2026, these roles now require professional business English. Not perfect, but professional. You need to be able to collaborate fluidly with a global team. If you're there, don't let the tech-forward branding of the company put you off applying. the AI augmented developer. For the technical professionals in the audience, BairesDev still values deep experience. 5 or more years in React, Java, Python, and similar stacks remain highly sought after. But the profile they are most excited about in 2026 is a developer who uses AI natively. If you're integrating AI-assisted coding and large language model tools into your workflow to ship cleaner code faster, you are already ahead of a significant portion of the applicant pool. This isn't about replacing technical fundamentals. It's about demonstrating that you are working at the frontier of how development actually happens now. The nearshore advantage, and this is where our region wins. BairesDev's entire business model is built on the nearshore concept, the idea that talent in the same or adjacent time zones as US clients is more valuable than equally skilled talent 12 hours away. If you are in Jamaica, Trinidad, Guyana, Barbados, or anywhere else in the Caribbean, you are operating in real-time alignment with clients in New York, Miami, and San Francisco. That is a structural advantage that candidates in other parts of the world simply cannot replicate. Don't underestimate it. So here are 5 tips for 2026. What would actually give you an edge? Tip 1. Treat your video introduction as an audition. In the 2026 portal, the video introduction is not a formality. The algorithm scans it for communication clarity before it reaches a human reviewer. Treat it like a 2-minute professional pitch, good lighting, clean audio, high energy, and a clear articulation of who you are and what you bring. This is not the place for a casual, unedited recording from your phone. Tip 2. Do your assessments when you're sharp. Complete your core technical stack tests first, and do not sit them late at night or when you're distracted. BairesDev's 2026 assessment include handwritten components that evaluate your design thinking. They want to understand how you approach a problem, not just whether you can produce the final output. Give yourself the mental space to show that. Tip 3. Don't let English hold you back, but know where you stand. If you are a strong technical professional, but your English is around a B2 level, apply anyway. BairesDev often has what they call bridge opportunities and internal roles where your technical skills carry weight while you continue developing your communication. The language bar is real, but it's not a wall for everyone. Tip 4. Understand the talent bench. If you apply and hear nothing back, don't interpret that as rejection. In 2026, BairesDev operates on what they call a talent bench. You may not be the right fit for any active project today, but when a client needs your specific stack or skill set in 3 months from now, your profile will resurface. Keep it updated. The silence isn't always a no. Tip 5. Use your network. Referrals move your profile to the top of the review queue. If you know someone inside BairesDev, ask them for a referral link. And as I mentioned at the top, your remote work aunties got you. My referral link is in the description below. Use it if you find it useful, and know that I do benefit from it if you get hired. BairesDev is a high bar. There's no point softening that. The application process is demanding by design, and over 2 million people a year are willing to go through it. But the other side of that bar, USD earnings, genuine hardware support, a company that has built its entire existence around remote work actually working, is worth the effort of these logic puzzles and late night test prep sessions. What I want you to take away from today's episode is this. This company is not just for developers. It is not just for people in the biggest markets, and it is not a closed club. It is a high standard, and the Caribbean has professionals who meet that standard every single day. They just need to know where to aim and how to position themselves when they do. If you've been on the fence, 2026 is a good year to find out where you stand. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Remote Islander. If you're considering remote work, remember that it's never too late to take control of your career and pursue your dreams. Happy remote working. Bye.